All right, guys, here we go. Welcome back to the channel. This is a safety recall edition, and this is for the 2021 and 2022 F-150 pickup trucks. And this is basically what's going on. If you can see these drive shafts, and I apologize, I'm going to probably clear my throat probably 100 times in this video, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so here you go. You got the drive shaft here, and you can see these insulators are touching these or scoring them and actually cutting them in half. And here's the drive or the insulator up here. And you can see it's kind of coming down here and touching this. And it's rubbing on there. And you can see this one over here. This is a pass. But you can still see this insulator kind of hanging down. And I bet that one's probably going to end up touching that eventually too. But you can see what happens over here. This goes down, scores this, and turns it into this. And you could see this top drive shaft, it's completely cut in half. And then you could see these other drive shafts. This one right here, looks like it's scoring there. This third one down over here, looks like we got scoring here, here, maybe here, and here. So 3, possibly 4 spots. And then down here, kind of same thing. I've got 4 documents to go over. I'll try to go over them pretty quick. I'll put a link in the description. You guys can click on them. It'll have this one in here as well. And this came out on the 20th. And so the dealership's probably not going to have this. So if you go down to a dealership and ask them to, I'm sure a bunch of you did what I did. I don't have an F-150. I have a Super Duty, but I'm going to be jumping under my Super Duty here in a minute to kind of get an idea of what my insulators are looking like too, because I don't want any of this stuff happening. And it's not just drive shaft. These insulators are not just touching these drive shaft. They're actually hitting your fuel line and some other critical components. I'll show that here in a minute. And in one of these documents, it says that Ford's not mailing out this information to the dealerships or to the customers until January 31st. So I'm actually getting this to you guys about 5 weeks earlier. So for most of you guys, you should be running out to your truck right now and make sure none of this stuff is happening. And for the most part, you could probably figure out a way to either remove this stuff or secure it or do whatever you can until you can get it to the dealership. Because, sometimes these dealers are a pain in the butt with getting this stuff. They don't have parts. They can't schedule it, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you got this going on. And I'm sure the higher mileage vehicles, this is going to affect them more. The ones that sit around a lot probably are not going to be this bad, but the people that are putting a lot of miles on them, obviously this is a mileage thing. As this drive shaft is turning, this thing's touching it, and you're going to start having stuff like this happen. So I would do some things to mitigate this if I couldn't get into the dealership. And then let me show you another one here. So here's another part of the insulator. Here is a part of the fuel line that's getting touched. So you can see this right here. This is an insulator. It's coming down and touching these fuel lines, which could be another bad day if your drive shaft doesn't cut in half and cause a catastrophic failure while you're going down a road, hopefully not pulling an RV and got your family in the car. But you have this right here coming down and touching your fuel line, which could potentially cut this rubber fuel line. I don't know if it's touching this one. But if you look here, this is the fuel line, and you can see these small gouges on the fuel line. It's touching it and could potentially cut that in half, so you're losing fuel going down the road. I don't know if this would spark. I'm not real sure what this is made of. But yeah, there's that. And then there's these are picture your insulators. And yeah, so let's go over some of these documents here. I got 4 of them. And this is going to affect 184,000. If you look up here, 184,698 vehicles. That's a lot. That's quite a bit. 2021, 2022 Ford F-150. Actually, let me go over to this one. I think this one has a range. It's this document here. And this one particular is 41 pages. So I'm not going to bore all you guys with the going over everything, but Now this is a good picture right here. So if you could see this right here, this purple deal here, that is your driver's side insulator. You can see it's underneath your gas tank. And you're going to have to pull your gas tank to get to this one. And those are those fuel lines right there. And you can see that part of that insulator is coming down and touching those fuel lines. And then this one over here is your passenger side insulator. And that one can come down, it's over your exhaust. And I don't know which one of these is actually touching your drive shaft. One of these two are touching your drive shaft, and either probably touching them here or in here or over here. And that's where the problem happens. So let's go all the way back up to the top. So this right here, 2021, 2022 model year F-150s. And here's the range right here. So they're all 21s or 22s. Some of them are assembled in Dearborn. Some of them are Kansas City. But you look at these build dates right here. And they're giving your build dates. And I pulled out, so I have a Super Duty. But this is going to be the same for you guys too, the F-150 guys. There's two ways to find your build date. If you go on your sticker, window sticker, and you come all the way down to the bottom, mine says special orders, that's special order mine. But if you didn't, that won't be there. But if you go all the way to the right, the last 6 digits, that's going to be your build date. So mine was built on February 27th of 2020. And I think you can also find it on the inside of your driver's side door. You got your sticker in there, and I'll tell you your build date too. So once you know your build date, you can come back over here. And if you fall within this, then you're probably going to have one of these problems. But I can tell you this, I've been doing these recall videos, safety recall videos for a while now. And I can tell you that a lot of times these manufacturers will expand these build dates because say you're October 22nd, sometimes there's not a whole lot of change, and they'll end up expanding these. So even if you're not in these build dates, heck, I've got a 2020 Super Duty that I'm going to be out here in a minute looking underneath it to see if I got any insulators. So I'm completely different, but I'm still going to go out and check. So this came out December 20th, 2021, and safety recall 21S56. And this is F-150 vehicles equipped that are a crew cab, 145 wheelbase, 4x4, 302A and above option package, and one-piece aluminum drive shaft. Reason for the safety recall: in some of the affected vehicles, underbody insulators may loosen and contact the aluminum drive shaft, resulting in marking or scoring of the drive shaft. Over time, the aluminum drive shaft may fracture, which can result in loss of motive power while driving, unintended vehicle movement while the vehicle is in park, if the parking brake is not applied, and secondary damage to the surrounding components. A fractured drive shaft may also contact the ground, which may cause loss of control of the vehicle while driving. A fractured drive shaft increases the risk or injury of a crash. Yeah, no kidding. And the other thing too, guys, is that if that thing is touching your drive shaft, you're probably going to hear it or feel it. If you're in your truck driving and you hear any type of grinding or rubbing, or maybe you're going over bumps and you hear that thing, it's probably a good indication that's probably what it is, which is, better than your transmission going out or something like that. Service action. Before demonstrating or delivering any new stock vehicle involved in this recall, dealers are to secure both the driver and passenger side underbody insulators and inspect the drive shaft, fuel vapor lines, and electrical connectors for damage and repair as required. This service must be performed on all affected vehicles at no charge to the vehicle. And here you go. Owner letters are expected to be mailed out the week of January 31st, 2022. Dealers should repair any affected vehicles that arrive at the dealerships, whether or not the customer has received the letter. So there you go. So this is where I hopefully I'm helping you guys out, because you won't be getting the letter till at least probably the week after January 31st. So not until February. Whereas I'm giving you this information now. So if you can get here now and beat the mad rush of 184,000 F-150s, you might want to do that. That's what I would do. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through this real fast and see if there's anything else that you need to know. Most of this stuff is how the dealers are going to, how they're supposed to repair it. And what they're doing is they're basically putting rivets in here that were not in there. They're going to have drill holes in the bottom of your truck and put rivets in there, and then they seal it up with some sealant. I don't think it's a bad repair. I've looked at this, and there's enough holes all over these trucks that I don't think it's going to hurt it any. So you can see here, here's that picture again. I already went over that. Let me scroll down. There's the fuel lines. We went over that. So this is kind of what they're doing here. They're putting these rivets up in there. They're putting some sealant around them here, basically going up there, and that's kind of the finished deal. They're going to be sticking those everywhere. So that's kind of how they're going to fix it. The rest of the stuff is just them telling mechanics how to take pictures and send it in without them being blurry. And there was another one in here. Let me see if I can find this one picture for you that I saw, that there was another insulator where it was dropping down. It was touching some electrical components by the exhaust. So basically this is a drive shaft. It's an insulator problem because these insulators are touching the drive shaft. They're touching the fuel lines. And there's one other in here. Let me see if I can find it. I remember seeing it. Oh, here we go. So here's the insulator here, and this looks like your exhaust coming off of here. And you can see this insulator up here is coming down and touching this guy here. And you can see over here, they kind of looks like it's touching this guy and touching this. And they're probably going to get into these wires down here. So I'd get under there, and that one right there seemed like it'd be an easy fix. I could just wrap the heck out of this thing, keep those wires from getting hit. And I think that's pretty much it for this document. These are all going to be in the description, so click on them, pull them up, print them, take them to your dealer. I've got these other documents here. Basically, you talk about the chronology, and they go over, you know, how what Ford, they initiated investigation and what they did and what they came up with and how many vehicles were affected. Down here, they had 27 reports of fractured aluminum drive shafts. So this will be in the description. I got this one over here. This one's from NHTSA. Damaged drive shaft may cause a fracture. So yeah, all these will be in there for you. This one's actually the NHTSA. NHTSA, if you don't know, that's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So anytime any recall, safety recall, any of that kind of stuff, it has to go through NHTSA, and they have to basically self-report because a lot of these are the potential of causing a serious injury or death. So they have to get this information out there and they have to fix it. So this is pretty much NHTSA's letter going out to everybody. And there you have it, guys. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out, let you get into the dealership a little bit sooner, gave you some pictures of the problem. And like I said, if I was you, I'd be underneath those trucks right now trying to fix some of that stuff before I got to the dealer if they can't fix it, because I'd want to go down to the dealer right now and be like, hey, get this stuff taken care of. But a lot of times they don't have the parts. They're not trained. They don't know. It's going to take time. So do what you can to keep your drive shaft from cutting in half on you, especially, like I said, if you're towing a trailer or working or whatever. That's and even drive shafts with the pandemic and parts and all that kind of stuff, man, I just hope they can get these drive shafts to you and get these trucks repaired correctly. So anyways, hopefully like the video. Please like and subscribe. I do these recall videos every once in a while, anytime something comes out where I think it's a big safety issue and fellow trucks on the road. Like I said, I have a Super Duty, but it doesn't matter. I do these for all brands, Ram, GM, and Ford. Pretty much stick to the truck genre. So, but I also do a lot of videos, on my truck. I have a Ford F-150 trimmer, so I do a lot of videos on that, towing videos, things that I think that are interesting. But anyway, so yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.